Hare Krishna devotee, Dandavatana. Welcome to the team Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very fortunate and glad to have the association of His Grace Svayam Prakash Prabhu, who will be sharing the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 6, chapter number 1, sloka number 34 to 36. Prabhuji, over to you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatiruttamashloke Bhavati Naishtike Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo. Hare Krishna. Today we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter entitled The History of the Life of Ajamila, page 34 to 36. We'll recite the shloka. Sarve Padmapala Shaksha Pita Kausheya Vasasaha Kiritinah Kundalino Lasat Pushkaramalinaha Sarve Chanutanava Payasaha Sarve Charuchaturbujaha Dhanurnishangasि Gada Shankachakrambuja Shriyaha Disho Vitimira Kurvanta Svena Tejasa Kimartham Dharmapadasya Kinkaranno Nishedhata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The order carriers of Yamaraj said, "Your eyes are just like the petals of lotus flowers, dressed in yellow silken garments, decorated with garlands of lotuses, and wearing very attractive helmets on your heads and earrings on your ears. You all appear fresh and youthful. Your 4 long arms are decorated with bows and quivers of arrows, and with swords, clubs, conchs, discs, and lotus flowers. Your effulgence has dissipated the darkness of this place with extraordinary illumination. Now, sirs, why are you obstructing us?" Before even being introduced to a foreigner, one becomes acquainted with him through his dress, bodily features, and behavior, and can thus understand his position. Therefore, when the Yamadutas saw the Vishnudutas for the first time, they were surprised. They said, "By your bodily features, you appear to be very exalted gentlemen, and you have such celestial power that you have dissipated the darkness of this material world with your own effulgence. Why then should you endeavor to stop us from executing our duty?" It will be explained that the Yamadutas, the order carriers of Yamaraj, mistakenly considered Ajamila sinful. They did not know that although he was sinful, throughout his entire life, he was purified by constantly chanting the holy name of Narayana. In other words, unless one is a Vaishnava, one cannot understand the activities of a Vaishnava. The dress and bodily features of the residents of Vishnu Loka are properly described in these verses. The residents of Vaikuntha, who are decorated with garlands of yellow silken garments, have 4 arms holding various weapons. Thus, they conspicuously resemble Lord Vishnu. They have the same bodily features as Narayana because they have attained the liberation of Sarupya, but they nevertheless act as servants. All the residents of Vaikuntha Loka know perfectly well that their master is Narayana or Krishna and that they are all his servants. They are all self-satisfied souls who are Nityamukta, everlastingly liberated. Although they could conceivably declare themselves Narayana or Vishnu, they never do so. They always remain Krishna conscious and serve the Lord faithfully. Such is the atmosphere of Vaikuntha Loka. Similarly, one who learns the faithful service of Lord Krishna through the Krishna consciousness movement will always remain in Vaikuntha Loka and have nothing to do with the material world. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desh Tarini Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नीलाचलनिवासाय नित्याय परमात्मने बलभद्रसुभद्राभ्यां जगन्नाथाय ते नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sankashidatra, for this opportunity to recite and remember Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Amala Purana, by being in touch with which, like now, it purifies me also. Thank you for this opportunity. So in this verse, it is mentioned that how we get to see that when the Yamadutas, they saw the Vishnudutas and seeing their effulgence and the bodily features, it was kind of a flabbergasted. They had not seen such personalities before. And by that they could understand that they are special people. They could understand that these are not ordinary souls. But after understanding that, they're more eager to know that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that they explain their bodily feature, which is each and everything they describe. This Sarva Padma Sarve, that means all of you, Padma Palasha Aksha. Aksha means the eyes. Your eyes are like the lotus petals. Pita Kausheya Vasasa. Vasa, the dress is like the Pita. Pita means the yellow color in the early morning when the sun rises. Just it is like a golden yellow kind of thing. Like that it is. And it is a silken cloth, and Kiritinaha, you are wearing the very beautiful helmets. Kundalina means the earrings are there, hanging earrings. And Lasat Pushkaramalinaha, Lasat means which is glittering, the earrings, and this is glittering. And Pushkaramalinaha, that you are wearing the garland of flowers, that is what Pushkara means, the lotus flowers. And Sarvecha Nutanavayaha, like all of you, that your Vaya means the age is Nutana, very young or very not aged, or then there are no wrinkles and all, all of you are looking very beautiful. And Sarve Charu Chaturbujaha. Charu means again very beautiful, all of you looking. Chaturbuja, you are having the four hands, like all of you. Dhanur Nishangasi Gada. All of you are having Dhanur means the bow, Nishanga means the quiver with the arrows, and Asi means the sword. You have the sword, you have the the bow with the arrows, Gada, that is the you have the club, then Shanka Chakra Ambuja. You have the holding the Shankha conch shell, then the disc is there, then the Ambuja, there is the lotus flower is there. So you are decorated with all these things. Disho Vitimira Lokaha. Like no, in all the direction, dishas, Timira means the darkness. Timira means that which removes the darkness. Without darkness, there is light. So because of your presence, Disho Timira Lokaha, like the this uh, whole area has become kind of illuminating with your effulgence. How? Swena Tejasa. How is this happening? Because of the just the bodily effulgence it is happening. So you have all these beautiful features. You are perfect in everything. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, they're, they were bewildered that you're also perfect, but why are you acting imperfectly by coming here and trying to take this Ajamila, who is our property? We are doing our duty. Kimartham? For what reason? Like no, Dharmapalasya. So like no, Dharmapala is the Yamaraj. And Kinkaran, no, no means ourselves. We are Kinkaras of Yamaraj, of the Dharmaraja, that is the like no servants of Yamaraj. We are doing our duty, and you are so perfect in everything. But this one act of yours and coming and trying to obstruct us or stop us, it is not looking perfect action. So you are acting imperfectly. So they are asking, why are you doing this? So in this Prabhupada also beautifully writes that how a person, even before being introduced, just by with his dress and the bodily features and the behaviors, one can understand his position. That's why Srila Prabhupada used to tell my disciples of the gentleman. That means Prabhupada wants all of us to act gentlemanly. That either through our words, through our actions, through our behavior, we should act in such a way that the moment they see us, they should feel that, oh, these are all very uh, refined people in their culture, in their words, in their actions. So sometimes some senior devotees say, although our philosophy is very personal, but we act very impersonally many times. But nevertheless, but here we are getting to see that how Prabhupada is telling that that's why Prabhupada used to tell first dress and then address, that our appearance also should be very appealing, so that the moment the people see that, they get attracted to the externals first, and then once one speaks, then they will be able to understand the personality properly. So that's why seeing this, the Yamadutas were bewildered. So, and here, if you see carefully that the description of the bodily features of the Vishnudutas are coming. So, if we see in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, 29th chapter, around I think 11th verse or something, where about this, like now, why they have this all forms or the uh, how can anybody get that, or is it possible? Like no, that comes in the this uh, this little bit of the this comes in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam 29 chapter. In that, like no, Kapila Muni is speaking to his mother Devavati. In that he says that yeah, this is 13th verse. I'll just share. This tells about the different five kinds of the muktis. So he says, Salokasarshti samipya sarupyaikan aikatvamakhyuta dhiyamanam na ghrihnanti vinamat sevanam janah. Like no, my pure devotees, like no, vinamat mat sevanam. Like no, here it is telling, like no, my pure devotees, without the service to me, like no, dhiyamanam na granati, even if it is given, they don't accept any of these five kinds of the the liberation, which are they? Salokya, Sarshti, Samipya, Sarupya, then Ekatvam, or like no Sayujya. These are the five things. So in this here, like no, the first one is the Salokya, where the liberated soul get to stay in the same loka of the Lord, in the same planet of the Lord, Salokya. And then Sasti is with all the like, having the opulences of the Lord. And Samipya, they get to stay very close to the Lord, like now, or as a personal associate. And Sarupya, having the same bodily features. And here, when we are reading this description of Vishnudutas who have appeared in front of the Yamadutas, here the first thing they could see is this the Sarupya. Like no, they have the same bodily features as that of the Lord Vishnu. And here in this purport, Prabhupada also writes that how uh, the devotee is so satisfied that he doesn't want any of them. Out of these five, Sayujya will never, like no, it's impersonal, this one, that they never aspire for it. And if they have all these features also, one thing, there is a few things which distinguishes the Lord and the devotees. Like the Prabhupada writes here, one gives one example of the Shivasa. Like the Shivasa is the hair on the chest of the Lord, which is there on the Lord but not on the devotees. Or the Kaustuba jewel, like in the this comes now. Shantakaram Bhujagashenam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrisham Megavaranam Shubhangam Lakshmikantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Vridhyanakamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavayaram Sarvadokaikanatam Sashankachakram Sakirita Kundalam Sapita Vastram Sarasirudyakshanam Saharavakshastala Shobhisam Shubham Namami Vishnum Shirasa Chaturbhujam. That also comes out. Like he has all these body features are explained. So there also it comes that like how Lord has this Shivatsa and the Kaustuba jewel and all this, which is not there on the devotees. But externally seeing, like no, they look exactly like that of the Lord. That is the Sarupya. And for a devotee, they don't have any of this like no aspiration. Their aspiration is just the service to the Supreme Lord. That's what here also it is telling that Vinamat Sevanam Jana. That is like without the service, they don't want any of these things. And in the previously also, like previous talk also, he says that like no, the manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart. Mat gunashruti matrena mai sarva guhashaye manogatir avichinna yatha gangam bhaso ambu. Just like the Ganga flows towards the ocean, so same way their like mind is naturally flowing towards the Supreme Lord just by hearing Mad Gunashruti Matrena, like about hearing the qualities of the Lord. So once they have achieved that, they have no aspiration other than just the service to the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada in the purport to that. Prabhupada, first thing is mentioning in that shloka coming about is that of the description of the Vishnudutas, and apart from that, in that only Prabhupada makes it a point that how the Yamadutas could see the external feature of this Vishnudutas and could understand that these are some special people, but they could not understand. They are saying that we are the order carriers of Yamaraj or the Kinkara. If you carefully see that they are identifying with their master, and always one's identification is not with oneself or anybody is identified with the connection with his superiors. So they're all even previously whenever somebody has to uh, introduce oneself, they would tell that the whole Gotra Pravara, I belong to such and such, and then Hambo Vivade, I offer my respectful obeisances. So that way they address themselves, and while telling that, they identify with the sage with whom he is connected. And the Gotra is coming from the sage, and the lineage, and then I belong to this. So that way, when one identifies with that, then with the higher this one, the responsibility is also higher. Responsibility also comes. That's why in the Krishna, while telling to Arjuna, uh, in the second canto of second chapter, 14th verse, uh, what is it? Kaunteya, Shitoshna Sukadakada, Agama Apayano Nitya, Tam Stiksha Subhata, Matra Sparshyestu Kaunteya. In that he calls, Prabhupada writes in the purport that here Arjuna is addressed with two names. One is Kaunteya, that is the son of Kunti Putra, that is the mother side, and Bharatarshava, father side. So there Krishna is telling him why he has to call same Arjuna, he has to address twice in the same shloka. He could write that because Krishna is telling to Arjuna that Arjuna, you have a relationship with both the father side and mother side are so glorious, such high lineage is there. With that comes a higher responsibility on you to act properly. The same way, all of our identification is also we have to see ourselves with what we are identifying. Whether we are identifying with the material things or the mundane things, or we are identifying with our spiritual connections. So that remembrance or the identification makes us act properly and situate ourselves in the right position. Otherwise, if we just for the sake of telling, we say that I belong to such and such, but if we don't act, then we misrepresent them. And second thing, people will get confused that they say that he's saying that he's a saintly person, but he's not acting saintly. So that's why it becomes important for us also to act properly with the lineage or the connection which we have. And that's why even now also, if you see that if a child does something, people will scold them, and suddenly it comes no, is it what your parents have taught? The same way as a grown-up people, we do some mistake or some act improperly, immediately what is identified is anybody asks is, whose disciple are you? Who is your spiritual master? So that way it goes to them. So that makes us become more uh, responsibility comes on us that how we act properly. So Prabhupada writes that how in the spiritual world, in the Vaikuntha planet, there the those who are staying are Nitya Mukta, are eternally liberated. And although they could their external appearance is just like that of the Narayana, but they always remain Krishna conscious, and they serve the Lord faithfully. They identify themselves as the servants of the Lord and never identify themselves as a master, or they never try to act like a master. Contrary to that, we see that when Krishna was present, who was it? Sorry, I'm not able to correct name. Who comes and says that I am also, he says I am the real Krishna. Okay. So I'm not getting that name. Poundraka. Sorry, thank you. So Poundraka was telling that like, no, I am the real Krishna and he is the like no acting, or he is duplicate Krishna. And he would fix two more hands and come and like as if he is like the Supreme Lord. So that way, even at present also many people, they try to show themselves or present themselves as the Lord, or they say that we are the avatar of the Lord. But then you have to see their action or their behavior, what is that, or their um, personal life, how is it? Because a devotee internally and externally he is the same, because whatever is there in the heart, that comes out naturally. One cannot go on acting for a long time. So just like we know the story of the Birbal and Akbar, where once one of the Pandit comes and tells that I can speak in any language and nobody can make out which is my mother tongue. If you can make out, then like no, I'll accept the defeat. But if not, then you have to give me reward me and all. Then Birbal, like when he was sleeping, he goes and pinpricks. Suddenly he speaks in his mother tongue. So the same way, like now, our what is there internally comes out when the tough situation comes, or the real tests in the life comes. But then if one is internally and externally is the same, if he is carrying this consciousness of I am the servant of Krishna, I am servant of such and such, my spiritual master, then naturally his action, his words, everything will come. So that's why Prabhupada very nicely mentions at the end of this purport that similarly, one who learns faithful service of Lord Krishna through the Krishna consciousness movement will always remain in Vaikuntha Loka and have nothing to do with the material world. That means Padma Patra Ivamasa. While staying in this world, he will experience or have the experience of staying in the spiritual world, because this world uh, becomes the spiritual world for him, because he doesn't see any of these things. That's why Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur says no, that Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. Like no, this world is becoming Sukhayate, like this. We call it as a Martyaloka or like Dukhalaya, but he's telling like no, this world is Sukhalaya. Why? Yat Karunya Kripa Kataksha Vibhatam. Like because of the Karunya Kataksha of Lord Chaitanya, this whole world has become like a spiritual world for me. Or Bhaktivinoda Thakur also in one of the Vaishnava songs he says that Jedine grahate bhajan deke grahate goloka bhaya. When I saw my family members, when I came back and I saw that all the family members are sitting together and doing the bhajan, singing the bhajan and doing the kirtan in front of the Lord, I felt that my home itself is the spiritual world. Grihete goloka bhaya. So that way, even we can turn the like no, the places wherever we are staying into Vaikuntha Loka by our proper behavior, action, and how we train ourselves. So to do that, what should be done? Prabhupada is telling one who learns the faithful service of Lord Krishna. That we should learn how to serve the Lord, Supreme Lord. And if you want to, like many people wants to apply to go to other countries, visas. To get the visa, one has to show certain prerequisites that I have minimum balance and this, that, in the bank balance is there, and I know this language or whatever it is, that minimum prerequisite, then he can get the entry into that particular country. The same way, for us also to get entry into the spiritual world, we also should have the consciousness or the attitude of that of the Vaikuntha Loka. And what is that the consciousness or the mindset of the Vaikuntha Loka that beautifully comes in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Brahmaji, when telling about the four Kumaras, this section comes just before the description of the appearance or the appearance of Lord Varahadev and the Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu are born, and like when that happened, the Devtas they all go to the Lord. At that time, what happened? Why this happened? Then while telling that Brahmaji is describing the beauty of the spiritual world or the Vaikuntha. So, so we'll read few verses from that section. He's telling that once when my four, like Manas Putras, the four Kumaras, when they were traveling, they travel across the entire universe, and then they have entered the spiritual world. Yeah. After thus traveling all over the universe, they also entered into spiritual sky, for they were free from all material contamination. In the spiritual sky, there are spiritual planets known as Vaikunthas, which are residents of Supreme Personal Godhead and His pure devotees and are worshipped by the residents of all material planets. Vasanti Yatra Purushaha, where the Supreme Lord resides, Sarve Vaikunta Murtaya, Ye Animitta Nimittena, Dharmena Radhayan Harim. In the Vaikunta planets, all the residents are similar in form to Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are all engaged in devotional service to the Lord without desire for self-gratification. Like now, Ye Animitta Nimittena. Like now, Animitta means like now desire for self-gratification, and they don't have any of this, but just like now, Dharmena Aradhayan Harim. They're happy just serving the Supreme Lord. And here also it comes that Sarve Vaikunta Murtaya, they all, their form is similar to that of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, here also Prabhupada, right? The residents of are all like Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana. So residents of the Vaikuntha Loka are also four-handed, just contrary to our conception here in the material world. Nowhere in the material world do we find a human being with four hands. In Vaikuntha Loka, there is no occupation but a service of the Lord, and this service is not rendered with a purpose. That means they don't have any expectation or hetu. Although every service has a particular result, the devotee never aspires for fulfillment of their own desires. Their desires are fulfilled by rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. All they want is nothing but want to serve and not expect anything from the service. So this is one of the for us also, whatever service we do, slowly, we also should aspire that, okay, let my service be just pleasing to the Lord. I don't want any adoration, puja, or pratishtha. Even if somebody identifies or doesn't identify, or somebody glorifies, pats on back, even if I don't get, not a problem. I just want to serve the Lord. Initially, we all need this pat on the back or appreciation, so that encourages us to do the service. And even after some time, when that is given, that encourages us to do more, but that should not become the every time when we do the service that, oh, I should be identified, I should be glorified. We need it, but we should not be aspiring for it. Just like when one has to climb a coconut tree, initially some push is needed. Like now, after that, like now he has to climb on himself. Not that from down somebody keeps pushing till the time he reaches on the top. Same way in the beginning, like now, we may need some certain little push, gentle push, because of our inertia or jadya. Like we need little push from the devotees, little encouragement, little pat on the back to do the service. But then later we should be happy just to do that. यत्र चाद्य पुमानास्ते भगवान् शब्दगोचरा सत्त्वं विस्तभ्य विरजां स्वानं नो मृडयन् वृषाः. In the Vaikuntha planet, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original person and who can be understood through the Vedic literature, he is full of uncontaminated mode of goodness with no place for passion and ignorance. He contributes religious progress for the devotee. That means it is the spiritual world is in the pure goodness. So the same way Prabhupada used to tell, all my temples are the Vaikunthas, because the Lord is there. The Lord's service also happens with the to the best of the one's ability, so that way that like now when one is serving the deities, it helps one to come to the mode of goodness. And what is the mindset and all in that, how it is, that comes in the few more verses. यत्र नैश्रेयसां नाम वनं कामदुघैर्द्रुमैः सर्वतो श्रीभिर्विभ्राजत् कैवल्यम् इव मूर्तिमात्. In those planets there are many forests which are very auspicious, vanam, and in that vana all the trees, how they are, vanam kamadugairdrumaihi. In those forests the trees are desire trees. Like no, you desire anything and like no, it gives everything. Like no, kalpataru. Sarvartu Shrivir Vibhrajat. And in all seasons they are filled with flowers and fruits, because everything in the spiritual Vaikuntha planets is spiritual and personal. Murtivat. Yeah, and Prabhupada writes in that like now how you can get anything from the any of the whatever you can desire kalpataru. And then here it tells about the devotees and their how is their behavior. वैमानिका सललना शरतानि शाश्वत गायन्ति यत्र शमलाक्षपणानि भर्तु अन्तर्जलेन विकसन् मधुमाधवीनां गन्धेन खण्डितधियोऽप्यनिलं क्षिपन्तः. In the Vaikuntha planet, the inhabitants fly in their airplanes accompanied by their wives and consorts, and eternally sing the character and activities of the Lord, which are always devoid of all inauspicious qualities. While singing the glories of the Lord, they deride even the presence of the blossoming Madhavi flowers, which are fragrant and laden with honey. Prabhupada purport writes that how the Vaikuntha planet is full of opulences, and all the inhabitants when they are traveling in their in the spiritual sky with the in the plane with their consorts and the wives, when the fragrant breeze of the comes and like carries the aroma of this one, there the inhabitants are so engrossed in glorifying the Lord or remembering the Lord, and they don't feel the disturbance. Like the Prabhupada writes here, the inhabitants of the Vaikuntha Loka, however, are so interested in glorifying the Lord that they do not like the disturbance of such a nice breeze while they are chanting the Lord's glories. In other words, they are pure devotees. They consider glorification of Lord more important than their own sense gratification. In the Vaikuntha planet, there is no question of sense gratification. So that means they are more concentrated or concerned about how can we serve, how can we give pleasure to Krishna, than all the facilities are available. Raja Gopinath used to say, sometimes austerity is lack of opportunity. That I'm austere, like no, because I don't have the opportunity to enjoy. So that is not the austerity. When everything is available but still one doesn't do, that is the real austerity. So again, Prabhupada writes, the inhabitants of Vaikuntha Loka give first preference to the service of the Lord, not their own sense gratification. Serving the Lord in transcendental love yields such a transcendental pleasure that in comparison, sense gratification is counted as insignificant. Because once one gets a higher taste, the lower taste naturally one gives up. If one has tasted a hot roti with like no ghee on it, if he has eaten it, then he doesn't like to take the roti which is cold, which was made one day before, it has become hard. It doesn't feel like eating. So the same way, they don't even think of it. And not only the like no devotees, but all the plants and the birds, everything is also of the same nature of that. They don't want to enjoy their senses, or they don't want to keep themselves in the center, but the Lord in the center. And if somebody is glorifying the Lord, they want to keep them in the center. That's not coming in the next shloka. पारावतान्यवृतः सारसचक्रवाका दात्युहं सशुकतिर्बर्हिणां यः कोलाहलो विरमते चिरमात्रमुच्चे भृङ्गादिते हरिकथम् इव गायमाने. When the king of beasts hum in high pitch, singing the glories of the Lord, there is a temporary lull in the noise of the pigeon, the cuckoo, the crane, the chakravaka, the swan, the parrot, the partridge, and the peacock. Such transcendental birds stop their own singing simply to hear the glories of the Lord. So, but right, this verse reveals the absolute nature of the Vaikuntha Lok. There is no difference between the birds and the human residents. The situation in the human sky is that everything is spiritual and variegated. Spiritual variegated means everything is animate. The special feature of Vaikuntha Loka is that there is no question of sense gratification. In the material world, even an ass enjoys his sound vibration. But in the Vaikuntha Loka, such nice birds prefer to hear the vibration of the glories of the Lord from the bees. The principles of devotional service, beginning with hearing and chanting, are very important in the Vaikuntha world. That means they can sing so nicely. The cuckoo, what is the comparison between the cuckoo singing and the bee singing? It's vast difference. But the moment the bee is not just trying to show off or trying to like prove that how I'm the best, or see I also have something to say or something, but he's just like glorifying the Lord through his sound, and hearing that, everyone is like become silent just to hear that. Oh, here is a devotee who is glorifying the Lord. Let us all hear him. So that is their mindset, not that let me put myself in the center. No, if someone else is serving better, let me assist him. That's what the mindset of the Vaikuntha and the like. Now, as a devotee, is also for us also the lesson is that sometimes it may happen that some devotee is doing better. Okay, put them in the center. We see even in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Mahaprakash Leela, when other devotees were getting the mercy of the Lord Chaitanya, everyone else who were present, they were becoming so happy and joyful. They're seeing that others are getting mercy of the Lord. So that way, the test is that how do we feel when others are being glorified or appreciated in front of us? If you are feeling pain, and if you are feeling that why I have not, like I'm not being recognized, or I did it, so that means that we still have that impurities of the heart, that I want it or something. But when it doesn't matter who gets the credit, I'm just happy seeing that the other devotees are getting the mercy and they're being glorified. So then that heart is slowly getting purified of the selfish mindset. And the same thing is observed even in the flowers also in the next. Mandara kunda kurabotpala champakarna punnaga naga bakulam mujaparijata gandhirchite tulasika bharanena tasya yasmin stapah sumanaso bahumanayanti. All the flowering plants like the mandar, kunda, kurabaka, utpala, champaka, arna, punnaga, nagakesara, bakula, lily, and parijata are full of transcendental fragrance. They are still conscious of the austerities performed by Tulsi, for Tulsi is given special preference by the Lord, who garlands himself with Tulsi leaves. So all the plants are also giving the importance to Tulsi. The importance of Tulsi leaves is very clear. Tulsi plant and their leaves are important. Yeah. The most important thing about the spiritual world is that there is no envy among the devotees there. This is true even among the flowers which are conscious of the greatness of Tulsi. In the Vaikuntha world, entered by the four Kumaras, even birds and flowers are conscious of service to the Lord. So if the birds and the plants are so conscious, then how much more conscious we should be while being with the devotees or while serving the Lord, because the deities of the Lord are non-different from the Supreme Lord. Um in the section of Chaitanya Charitamrita, where the Sakshi Gopal pastime comes, in that it's mentioned that shloka, the younger Brahmana says that Murti nahi tumi sakshat Rajendra Nandana. You're not just a deity, you're sakshat Rajendra Nandana. You're the self same supreme person of Lord. That's why he said that you should come and give sakshi. He had so much of conviction. So that way, when we are serving the Lord, also that when we are with this attitude that it doesn't matter, no, whether I get credit or not, but the service should be done. Then Bhakti Samrat Maharaj used to say, many great things can be, many great unimaginable things can be achieved uh, if we don't mind who gets the credit. So I'm just paraphrasing it. So Maharaj was saying that, no, when we want to put ourselves in the front, then the ego comes and then why not me do it? Or I want the credit, or why he is doing, why he is getting it, all those things comes. But it doesn't matter who gets the credit, but I'll do my part. Recently, one devotee was sharing that how a devotee is also like a salt. In any preparation, the salt is unidentified. Practically, nobody glorifies the salt. Wow, such amazing, tasty, vegetable or samosa, kachori, or whatever everybody appreciates. But nobody says that, oh, salt is so amazing or something. But without the salt, the same item becomes it will not be so tasty. And salt is there, but its existence, it doesn't keep its existence in the forefront, like all the existence is there of the all the other ingredients, but that is the one which is giving that taste. The same way the devotee of the Lord is also is like a salt, that he does whatever is needed for the service of the Lord, for glorifying the Lord, but he remains, or he goes to the background. He is not very much eager for showing that I did it. So when we try to develop uh, such consciousness, then that becomes very attractive, and the Lord also becomes very pleased and attracted to such qualities. And the next it says, Yat Sankulam Haripadanati Matra Drishtair Vaidurya Marakatahema Maya Vimane Yesham Brihat Katitatas Smita Shobhi Mukya Krishnatmanam Narajadu Utsmayadyahi. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha travel in their airplanes made of lapis lazuli, emerald, and gold. Although crowded by their concerts, who have large hips and beautiful smiling faces, they cannot be stimulated to passion by their mirth and beautiful charms. Right? They have ample opulences for enjoyment, but they need not labor to achieve them in the Vaikuntha planet. And it is also stated in the Vaikuntha world that the concerts of the residents are many, many times more beautiful than we can find in this material world, even in the higher planets. So even when they see the beautiful, their own wives, they don't get attracted to them. In other words, there is enjoyment of the association of opposite sex, but there is no sexual relationship. The residents of Vaikuntha have better standard of pleasure, so there is no need of sex pleasure, or in the sense that although they are there, but they are not attracted by their physical beauty or something, because they're getting so happy just by serving the Supreme Lord. So when that satisfaction is their internal satisfaction, other things one may not try to look for. And here in today's verse also, when these Yamadutas saw the Vishnudutas in that way, then the moment they saw that, they became so astonished, and because of which these words are coming that you are so perfect, but your action is not perfect. So please tell us, why are you doing this? And then in the further, the description or the what the reply the Vishnudutas give, and the conversation between both of them that continues, that will come in the next verses. So I just pause here. I just to summarize, today we discussed on the few things about, we saw in the initially that how the five kinds of liberation is there, and the devotee without the service to the Supreme Lord, a pure devotee doesn't aspire for any of these things, and if it is given or not, it doesn't mind, because his main goal is to serve the Lord. And Prabhupada also writes in the Prabhupada that when one learns in Krishna consciousness how to live in the spiritual world, because this world also turns into the spiritual world when one has the right understanding and the right perspective. And we saw from the 15th chapter, 3rd canto, how the consciousness or the mindset of the residents of the Vaikuntha Loka, where there is no envy, and there is always the constant thought of how can we serve the Lord, keeping aside one's own sense gratification far away. So when that is there, then that makes the spiritual world, and even while staying in this material world, we can experience that the stay of the Vaikuntha planet. So these are few thoughts, or what I could recollect or gather, or based on my understanding from the Srimad Bhagavatam and what I have heard from my spirit. If any of you would like to share your reflections or any comments, you are most welcome. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhu, what's the meaning of concert, Prabhu? Usually concert is the word given for if Vishnu, the concert means Lakshmi Devi comes, no, Prabhu. But here they say wives and concert, then how to understand that?
That I also, while reading, I also got the same questions, and you asked the same, Mataji, because I'm not sure exactly, because generally, yes, for the Lord's concert we say, we say no better half, or this one. But in this connection, I also need to check, Mataji. I'm also not sure what is the difference between both, or is it like I'm just I don't know. Let me not conclude.
Yes. But in the later one place, they say they are smiling and they are like beautiful, and they describe. Maybe, I don't know, people who, but we cannot, as you said, we cannot conquer.
It can be also that they're the king would go with the whole entourage. So I don't know whether is it something like that, because there are many apsaras and others are there. So if that is what it is meant or something, I'm not sure. I need to just see.
In this one, the meaning, if you take, I don't know whether we can take that. Wife is legally married spouse, while a consort is a more formal term for a spouse, it says. I don't know.
That's what it is coming in front of. I also googled. Google is doing the same thing.
Yes, you can tell us later. Like,
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Nice references from third canto about Tulsi and other flavors, envy, not envy. Great, Prabhu. Thanks for the nectarian class, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
actually, Gaurang Dashandas explains these words in that nectar verses, Prabhu. And he says, when Tulasi walks, all of them will go aside. Like that, he explains.
When they come in the forefront, they just all they give their way, or like they just become. They put them in the front, or like they don't try to go. They don't try to push them back, or they don't try to be in the center. Easy to speak, but difficult to act. So, but at least first level is to know, at least, and slowly, at least, whenever we act later, at least because we know, then in the at least in the heart, we know that I am not supposed to do this, but like no, I did it. So that at least it is little one step better than not knowing one.
Any other comments or questions from the devotees?
Okay, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Thank you very much.
Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you, devotees. We'll end today's session.
Vanchakalpatarubhasya Prabhajanti Vichaya Patitanam Pavani Vaishnavi Namo Namo.
अनंतकोटि वैष्णव की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय.
Thank you, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, devotees. I'll end the Zoom session now. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.